Good morning. Happy Wednesday. I am Julie with Creations by Julie, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me this morning. I hope you're warm wherever you are. We're a little chilly this morning, maybe even close enough to turn on the fireplace, but it was 50 when I got up this morning, but you know, here in Southeast Texas, that's cold. So anyway, stay warm today, stay safe from all the coronavirus, and again, thank you for joining me. When you hop on, Ed's behind the camera and going to try to catch as many comments as he can, but after the live, I will go back and read the comments, answer any questions you have, or anything like that. I would appreciate it if you would like, follow, and share this video on your page. That not only helps you go back and find this particular video, it also helps me with the engagement with Facebook. So Facebook will show my lives to more of my followers. But anyway, today we're going to make a little bit different wreath. It's very simple, but it's a very nice wreath, and it's a little something different that not everybody has on their front door or their wall, but it's pretty easy. Once you get, it's like most of the other wreaths, once you get the basic petal down, I'm going to call it a petal for lack of whatever else it is, then you pretty much have it. So again, when you hop on, let us know where you're from and you know how things are going. I missed y'all last week. I had a root canal on Monday, and it took me several days to kind of get over that. So we're back today, long sleeves and all, but it's going to be a really nice day. Okay, let's go over a few things we're going to need. First thing you're going to need is I'm using a 14-inch wire frame. Now, it came from the Dollar Tree, but in the last couple of weeks, I don't know what it is, if people are just making a lot of their own wreaths. We went through this last year too, probably like in October, that the Dollar Trees are sold out. I've been to 2 different Dollar Trees and have not found this particular wreath. You can't even order it online. I don't know if, this one says 14. They did have one online that said 14.25, so I don't know if they're changing over or what. But anyway, Walmart sells wreaths, Hobby Lobby sells wreaths, so if you can't find the 14, for this particular wreath, you could go down to the 12. I wouldn't go any lower than that. And you might use a little bit less mesh, depending on how many sections you have in your wreath. You could try a 16-inch.
Jeannie says good morning.
Who?
Jeannie.
Oh, hey, Jeannie. I read your good news on Facebook last night. That's great. And Ed will tell you it's no fun to have to take steroids the rest of your life. So it sounds like you're doing really well. I'm glad. You're probably back at work now. Okay, so you could do a 16-inch wreath. It's just take a little bit more mesh, and you would have a bigger hole in the center. So I've never tried it on the 16-inch. So anyway, 14-inch wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. You're going to need for what I'm doing the peppermint candy, red and white. So you're going to need partial roll of each. It doesn't take a whole roll of each of them. You need 48 pieces to do this size wreath. So what I did, I'm just doing 2 colors, white and red. So it's 24 pieces of each. You could do white, red, and green, and then, you know, just multiply and see how many you would need of each to do that. You could do white and green, because there is like a winter green peppermint, I think. It's just up to you. I like this traditional red and white. You want to make sure, mesh now sometimes is coming in 10.5 inches. Most of it like this is 10 inches. But just measure it and make sure this one is 10. And I'm pretty sure this one is too. I like using the ones, this is what they call a heavy foil. Well, it's probably not heavy foil, but it's a foil. It just makes your wreath a little shiny. Kind of looks like candy. You can get both of these, I'm pretty sure, at Hobby Lobby. And then the white. The white has a little bit of sparkle foil to it, but not a whole lot. So anyway, the reason you want to know if it's 10 or 10.5, because you're going to cut squares. So if your mesh is 10.5, you want to cut the length 10.5. And if it's 10, you want to cut it 10. Like I said, you're going to need 48 if you do 2 colors. And this is what I had left after I'd already cut and made one. Okay, to cut your mesh, you can use scissors, but mesh, when cut with scissors, frays really bad. So I would suggest you invest in 1 or 2 things. A wood burner that you can get, and you can see it's just got a little tip on it. You plug it in and it cuts through mesh. It will cut anything unless it has like a cotton fiber or jute in it, and then it smokes, so you can't use it on that. But I pretty much use my wood burning tool on all my mesh. It does wonders to cut down on the fraying. Makes your wreath look a little nicer. You can get these at Walmart or they're about $15. Amazon, but it's called a wood burning tool. Or you can use a rotary cutter. This is found, and I like this particular one. I just like the way it fits and the way you open it and close it. It's a Fiskars, and you get it in the sewing notions and stuff. Hobby Lobby, Walmart has them. It's meant for fabric, but it works great on cutting mesh also. Okay, you're going to need pipe cleaners. And since I'm doing red and white, I have red and white pipe cleaners. And we're going to cut them in half. I don't use my scissors to cut my pipe cleaners. I use a snipper. What's it called, Ed?
Dikes.
No, what's another word for it besides that? I don't know, but anyway.
Wire cutters.
Wire cutters. Okay, so that's what I cut my pipe cleaners with. You're going to need something to go in the center if you want a sign or something in the center. You don't have to have it. You can just hang it up like it is and it looks like a piece of candy. I've chosen, I had these candy canes and I just put a bow in the middle. I went ahead and prepared this. If you have something wood, you can take your pipe cleaners and just staple them on the back. I put a little bit of glue on them, and I did that yesterday, so they've got a few minutes to set up. But that's what I'm going to put on the front of mine. So, any questions so far? Like I said, that's just basically some of the things you're going to need. All right, I've already cut my mesh, and I just cut enough pieces to kind of show you one section so that you can get the petal down. And then I have one almost finished, so you don't have to sit here and watch me do this all the way around because that gets pretty boring. But I just cut 4 of each, I think is what I cut. But anyway, I'll show you how to do the petal with these. Let me get, I got a few half pipe cleaners in here already. And of course, I don't measure them, you know, I just look, see what's sort of halfway cut. So, what did I say? 2 of each would give me 8. We'll see how that goes. I like to buy my pipe cleaners from Hobby Lobby. To me, they seem thicker and a better pipe cleaner than what you can get at other places. And like I said, I don't measure because, I mean, this is no big deal. You can use a whole pipe cleaner if you want to, but it's not necessary. And with this particular flower, I find, and what I did on this other one that I made, it works better to do your petals ahead of time and get them ready to go on your frame, or you can do one at a time. We're going to make a couple, and what you're going to do is put two white, 2 red, 2 white, 2 red, and I'll show you why you use 2 of them. So anyway, you're going to take your mesh, curl up. See, most wreaths that we've done, we've turned the mesh over and done with the curl down. But this one, you want your curl up, okay? Then you're just going to take one corner, go to the next corner, kind of make a triangle, kind of get them as straight as you can. It does not have to be perfect because it's pretty much going to be hid. Okay, then all you're going to do is go about, let me see how, it's about 3.5 inches up, kind of. You're going to just push it, squish it together to where you have something that kind of looks like a mushroom, or if you turn it this way, it looks like a C. And that's pretty much your petal. You want this rounded. If you just only did down here, see, it doesn't round as much. So you don't have to measure. I just usually kind of go about 4 inches up. And if you go too far up, then it, might be too much. But you could even do this. Okay? Then what I do is I just take the coordinating color of my pipe cleaner and you're going to wrap it around. The pipe cleaner is what you're going to attach to your frame. So just kind of get it in half and you just twist it once or twice. Okay? And that's what you have. Kind of the sea, spaceship maybe, a mushroom. I don't even know what this petal is called, but that's what you're going to do. So we're going to make another white one. Again, I try to do my corners all the same. You've got the regular edge here, and then you've got the edge that you cut. For this particular one, for some reason, I just have the regular edge at the bottom. This is why you want to get as close to a square as possible. And these were cut, even though they have the foil in them, they were cut with the wood burner. All right, and then I'm just gonna pinch it up like that. Take a pipe cleaner, wrap around it, maybe twice. And there you go. Now, let's do 2 red ones and then I'll show you how to put them on your frame. And then you're just gonna repeat this process over and over. Okay, I'm gonna go to the corner. See, this one's not an exact over here, but that's okay. You really don't see much of the edge for this particular wreath. Okay, gather it up, make your mushroom, but I'm going to do this one with a red pipe cleaner. You don't have to do 2 colors of pipe cleaners. You can do just one. But see, this is what I just sat down one day and just did the petals. Then I went back and put them on my wreath. I don't like the stop and start usually to do it the other way. I want my petals done because they're all done the same. So you're going to do this 48 times. Make your mushroom. Wrap your pipe cleaner around it. And twist it. Now you're going to have 8. Your frame has 6 different sections. Okay, this is a section from bar to bar. And you have 1, 2, 3, you have 4 rings on it. But you're going to put 8 in one section. And we're going to start in one section where the wire's at. The anchor wire or whatever. Because you want to be able to maneuver these a little bit, but you want at least one of them. You can start with either color you want to. And what you're going to do, the first thing you're going to have to do is cut off the excess. You can do this when you make your petals, or you can do it as you put it on. Because if you don't cut off this excess, it's harder, and then you just got all this extra mesh. So, I mean, I don't measure it. You want about 1 inch at the bottom. I just cut it off. See how it's shorter? And I'll take this red one. They don't have to match. Just cut it off. Okay, to put it on your frame and to get your wreath going, you're going to, on this one, you're going to try to attach it to that bar where this one does not move. You're going to use your 2 inner bars. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're going to use 2 and 3 all the way around. And I just want that attached, but I want it caught on that bar. Just put it under there, turn it over, and then just twist it 3 or 4 times. Okay, and then I kind of push this down this way. It kind of helps secure it because the next one, I'm going to use this as part of it. Okay, so that's what you've got. And see, it's there, it's not going. Now you're going to do 2 red, and you're just going to go on top of that one, between those 2, turn it over.
Kayla said good morning.
Good morning, Kaylee. And I'm going to grab the little bit of pipe cleaner and in these two and twist it. Can you see how that's looking on the back? And then I'm going to push this pipe cleaner down. You could cut off the pipe cleaners if you wanted to, and then you're going to, don't worry too much, you know, about this, because you're going to straighten that later. So that's 2. So then we're going to cut off the end. Now we're going to put 2 white. And you want to lay it over the top. You don't want it way down here. You want them fairly close together. So I'm going to put it up there. Go take my pipe cleaners over the 2, number 2 and 3. Turn it over. And when you go up this way, it kind of helps you know how far to go. And mesh sticks on each other. So I'm going to try to catch the end of this red pipe cleaner and then just twist it. Pull it tight and twist. So see, you've got the ends of your mesh also between those 2. Push that down. Okay, then we're going to take this one, put it on top of the white. It's just easier to turn it over and work with it. I'm going to catch that pipe cleaner. You could use a whole pipe cleaner if you wanted to, but you would have a good bit of pipe cleaner here to cut off. So then I'm just going to twist that one. And push it down. So I've got my 2 white together. Okay, does that make sense so far? Don't worry too much about all this. You can fix that later. All right, let's take a couple more, and we're just going to do the same thing until I fill up this row. This time I'm going to go ahead and cut them because I'm afraid I'm going to forget. You know, once you get a pattern going, try to kind of make them the same size. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be, but, you know, get your thing going and try to make them about the same. All right, I'm going to cut this off as I make them. Corner to corner. Kind of get the... Okay. You're getting a lot of messages. Okay. Twist it. So what's the weather like where y'all are? Is it cold everywhere? Today's another day. I'm glad I don't live in Louisiana. I pray for those people. They've just had a rough year. And thank goodness, you know, these fronts have come through here in Texas because we don't live very far from Galveston. And the fronts have come through and kept all of it from coming to us this year. Now, there's a little bit of left there. If you see it, just pull.
Kayla says it's cold in Danbury.
Yeah. See, I'm telling you, you know, to us Texans, 50's cold. And I believe North Texas, Amarillo, and somewhere else I saw yesterday had snow. Would be nice for a while. Of course, I say that because I'm retired and I wouldn't have to get out in it. I could craft all the time. Okay.
Kayla says she recognized your Waymaker shirt.
Ah, I made it on live. I looked this morning and Magnolia still has this stencil available. I think it's like $13.99. You can put it on towels, you can put it on t-shirts, signs. We're going to do, I think next week we're going to do some more stenciling with Magnolia Design stencils. Okay, so I've got my white Next thing I'm going to do is red. Again, put it rows across rows 2 and 3. I pull that one down. This just helps have a nicer finish in the back rather than little things sticking out all over the place. It just makes it look nicer. Okay, so we're going to do 2 red. And like I said, it really does not take long. Once you get going, probably the longest is, well, cutting the mesh and then making your little, even almost like a jellyfish, isn't it? But anyway, making your little mushrooms. Okay. And then a white. Basically, I mean, this is, like I said, a 14-inch, so 8 fill up a section. Then you want the first one of the next section to be right there on that bar. So if you've done it properly, the first one in each section should be the same, should be red. So there we have that white one. This is the last one in this particular section. Okay, and you just keep going around, all the way around. So there you have one section done. All right, do y'all have any questions about the petal before we go to the wreath that's almost finished? I think I have 8 more. So that's what you've got going, and you're going to do the same thing in each one of them, okay? When you get towards the end, your center starts getting full, and you're going to have something that looks like this. You see how full? It just kind of curves inward like that. Okay, so we're going to finish up this one and see what I've done on the back. They just go all the way around. So I'm going to start with a white, and I'm going to do over this particular one. I started with white, so my white is going to be across that bar. It gets a little crazy as you get to the end, but I'm trying to get back and get that pipe cleaner. You could do this with tie wraps, but tie wraps usually are so tight, it wouldn't allow you to move your things if you needed to. Okay, one more white. You can see how as it gets fuller, it gets a little harder to get them where you want them. But you're still just in that middle 2 bars. All right, so then I'm going to go with 2 red. And don't worry, I mean, your mesh kind of sticks on each other, but that's okay. I'm going to show you a little secret in a few minutes to you do that kind of help them curve the way you want them to. Like I said, putting the petals on doesn't take near as long as cutting them. And you see why I said if you go much smaller, you're not going to have much. I'm not even sure you could do very well with a 12-inch. If you go 16 inches, depending on what sign you're going to put, it could make the middle a little bit bigger. But when you finish, you just manipulate them a little bit. Get them to curve the way you want them to.
Marie Renoso says that's pretty good. Pretty good. Cool. Pretty good.
Yeah, it makes a really cool looking, and it's one of those things that you look at it and you think, how did they do that? You know, because it's not a normal petal. Okay, so now we're going to do white. But you see how easy the petal was to make. When I finish, I'll be putting this one on my Etsy store. It's probably the only one I'll make this year. I might finish that one that we started and I might not. So I wanted to tell you, my goal is to help y'all be able to make some nice gifts or home decor that's affordable. And I'm thinking this is going to be the year people are going to want or they're going to do homemade gifts, because who wants to go to the mall and fight that crowd and COVID? So I've tried to add things to my Etsy store that's
Maria wants to know how big your cuts are.
10 inches if your mesh is 10. If your mesh is 10 and a half, you need to make a square, so then you would need to cut it at 10 and a half. But these were 10. So you don't use a whole row. If you figure you're doing 10 inches and you only need 24 of each color, that's just 240 inches. And your mesh should have 10 yards, which is 360 inches. Now, Hobby Lobby has started some of their mesh. You have to be careful because it does not have 10 yards on it. So, okay, I think we have 2 red and then we're done.
Emma came on.
Emma, what are you doing home, girl? Okay. Emma, you need to make one of these for your front door. Anyway, as I was saying, if you'll go to the top of my page, the little blue Shop Now button, it will take you straight to my Etsy store. And I have tried to list several inexpensive things that would make very nice gifts this year. And that's why I would appreciate you liking and following the page. Because I think I've added some things that would be really nice gifts. Okay, this is the last one. I start to say, where does it go? Okay, I only have 1 red here. You see, you kind of have to move the others. You have to manipulate them just a little bit to get these last couple in here. And it wants to stick on that mesh in front. Let me get this one done and then we'll turn those the way we want them. And I'll share a little secret with you. Okay. So now you just kind of put them together and just kind of put them down. It just automatically makes that curve to where it looks like the peppermint candy. So the middle ones, you see how you could actually hang it up and not have anything in the middle, but we're going to put a sign. Okay, now let me share a little secret with you so that you get the edges to kind of do what you want them to do. You take a staple gun and you find the 2. Yep, that one's had a little staple. I don't know if you can see this white. I've already stapled all these, but I've taken the 2 that there and come in a little bit and put a staple that kind of holds them together. So I think we started with white, didn't we? So again, just take the 2 of them, kind of put them together, and you cannot see the staples, but it helps it keep the rounded shape a little bit. I'm just going to staple it. you wouldn't have to do this. But this will kind of keep them together and keep them from sticking too bad. And you don't see the staples. They're far enough in. Okay, and this is where you'll maneuver them a little bit. Get that red one out a little. It's almost like that one wants to curve the wrong way, but it'll be fine. Okay. All right, I think they're all stapled. So what do y'all think? I mean, that was pretty quick, actually. But now, like I said, you could hang it on your door, just like this. And once you get it on the door, just kind of, if you see any loose little sprigs, just cut them off. It's no big deal. You could spray it with some Rust-Oleum that kind of keeps the edges from fraying. Some people use the spray E6000. I don't like to use that. I mean, to me, it kind of makes them a little sticky. All right. Now, I'm going to put the candy canes in the middle. So, just kind of find a place, maybe that's a little different. And to me, this one right here is a little wonky. So, what I'm going to do is probably have it... I'm probably going to put my candy canes like that. So let me stand up. And I've put pipe cleaners. And all you're going to do is kind of go through your mesh. You want to actually attach it to the wire. And then I'll straighten it when I get to the bottom. So I'm actually going to try to go through this mesh with my pipe cleaner. And sometimes it doesn't want to go very well. This one I'm having to go through a couple, the white and the red. There's one of them. There's the other one. And you want to actually attach it to the wire. I might use that crossbar there too. But I want to make sure it's kind of centered. You want to pull it tight, but not too tight because you don't want it to mash too much. I probably will loosen that once I get this one down here fixed. So I'm going to go to this one down here. Kind of get it to where you know that it's on there straight. And then I won't put anything else on this. No ribbons. I just made this one little ribbon on the front of the peppermint candy. And it doesn't need anything else. Let me loosen this one just a tad because I want it kind of sitting on my mesh to where it doesn't mash it. Okay, it's just kind of sitting on the mesh, but not too tight. But like I said, you don't have to put anything in the center if you don't want to. Then once you hang it on your door or whatever, just kind of manipulate the candy. And that's it. Y'all see it? Can you see it didn't take very long at all? Like I said, what takes the longest is cutting your mesh. So we'll go back over that again. The mesh is cut either 10 or 10 and a half. It depends on how wide your mesh is, and it'll tell you on the front of it. Majority of mesh is 10 inches by 10 yards is what I buy. And you want to make a square. And then you take the square and you go corner to corner and make a triangle, and then just pinch at the bottom to where you make like these curves, in case you missed the first part of it. You want it to be a C.
Curl up.
Yeah, curl up when you go to make it. That just helps create this rounded effect like this. And then you put about 8. If this is a 14-inch frame, so you want about 8 in each. So you've got 48 pieces, 24 white, 24 red, which is not even a whole row of each one.
Nancy wants to know where you bought the candy cane.
The candy cane that I put on the top, you know, I don't know. I think it was from Hobby Lobby or possibly even the Dollar Tree last year. And I just pulled off the cheap little bow that was on it and replaced it with this one. It was in my stuff with Christmas this year, so I'm not sure. But I would think Hobby Lobby or a Dollar Tree, either one. And there's a lot of signs that are round that would look great on this too. Some of them even say something about Candy Lane, but you probably can find a nice sign at Hobby Lobby or Dollar Tree. And like I said, you wouldn't have to use the sign at all if you didn't want to. So, okay, that's it for today, y'all. Like I said, next week I think I'm going to show you how to make some very inexpensive gifts. And we'll have time. I think I have 3 different stencils to work on with the chalk paint and stuff. So I will go back and read your comments, and I appreciate, again, if you would, like, follow, and share my page. And last week we had a giveaway. And we'll do that ever so often. When we do that, I can't say the word share. Facebook doesn't like for you to ask people to share if you're going to give them something. So, but I can say that today. So share the video with your friends. It'll also be up on YouTube. Okay, that's it. And y'all have a great day. Stay warm, and thank you for spending part of your day with me. God bless. Bye.